So about a year ago, I made a video on nu metal, and ever since some of you have been asking for a follow-up. With pop punk bands like The Paradox on the rise and Knocked Loose tearing it up on Jimmy Kimmel, now feels like the perfect time. The kids are most definitely alright, and the rock scene is very much alive. Okay, so if you find yourself without a garage full of instruments, how do you go about creating a nu metal banger in the DAW? You're going to want to find yourself some kind of guitar plugin. There's a few good options out there, and today I'm opting for Ample Sound's Metal series, starting with Hellraiser. With Ample Sound, there's also a couple of ways that we can play our chugs, and I'll cover that throughout the rest of the video. We're going to start off just in keyboard mode though, and I think I'll compose a chorus section to begin with at about 110 BPM, just between two note chords. It's going to sound a bit weird without effects at first. I've actually turned off the reverb and the delay here in Ample's effects, and I've also turned off the amp sound that we have, or just set it to a clean sound, I should say. So now we have this. I'm going to keep the MIDI monitor down here so you can see what notes I'm playing, but it's essentially just the B with the F sharp on top, and then I move that a semitone to here. That's the C and the G. I'm just going to play between those to create our chorus section. Let's see how this goes. I didn't like how I landed that last note here, but what we'll do is we'll quantize this. It's also going to be about the velocity that we use as well. So on some of these kind of ghost notes, what I'll do is bring that velocity down. I take all of these notes, copy and paste them on top of themselves, and then put them up onto that F sharp. Adding some EQ and an amp simulator can be really helpful. I've created my own amp sims for Ableton at the Patreon, but today I'm going to use Neural DSP in the Nolly archetype, which is really going to beef up our guitar. We can choose our pedals, our head, EQ, and even how we mic our stack. I'm kind of liking this. Coming back into the Hellraiser, I just want to turn off any fret noise. So I'm going to pull that down. Always wanting to have the most beefy sound, I found out from Noise Department on Instagram that you can import individual string notes into your oscillators, taking the lowest note and throwing it into oscillator A here as a new wavetable, the higher note here, and put the chug transient in the noise part of Serum. So we're going to put this under our composed chorus section and also select that Nolly Neural DSP too. Over here in Serum, what we can do is pull this sound down. I'm going to couple that with some EQ. And then also another instance of Nolly here. I'm not sure if this will sound better lower. Cool, and we're just going to pull that up from a muted position to find that natural kind of sweet spot. If we copy our lowest notes to a new track, I'm going to select the metal raise bass from Ample Sound for our bass sound, of course. So it's a lovely sound, and we're just going to get rid of the topmost notes. So these notes here, we're going to mute these. Now we're left with this. There's a lot of fret noise here, so we're going to remove that. And we're just going to get rid of some of that trebly stuff. And I'm just going to use the shelf here. And what we can do with the Ample Hellraiser is pull that down and put it in just a basic sub sine. It just sounds like this. And that'll just add some punch to my bass. Insert time here, Command I, and then up 4 times to insert 4 bars. And I'm going to duplicate this section. And all I want to do is just change the end before we go into the A section. So I think I'll have a ba-da-da-da-da-da. I think just that would be nice and easy. Now for the fun part. Let's add some drums. I'm using the Roland TD27 today, but we could have also recorded these parts on a MIDI keyboard or just input them into the piano roll. My sounds are all coming from Superior Drummer 3, and then I'm making it a little bit more aggressive with my Better Help device, which you can also find at the Patreon alongside this project that we're creating. Okay, I kind of got carried away with the drums in this section, but I know that there's going to be an A section. So that's why I kind of continued to the click. I want to create a kind of chord pattern, and I'm going to use ample metal Eclipse here, but in strummer mode. In strummer mode, you can hold the notes of your MIDI keyboard to play different power chords or octaves as it is in this preset. When you hold the C a couple of octaves above, it will actually play that chord. As I press different notes and then press that C, it will play those different chords for you. So we're essentially just holding C and with our left hand, change into the chords that we want to hear. I'm going to record something in here. Let's see if we can get it in one take. You can hear that it's got a little bit of latency there, so we're just going to quantize these up. And then we're pretty much good to go. That reminds me, this episode is sponsored by DistroKid. I would absolutely love to release a beat tape of just like new metal, hardcore beats, but I don't know how you guys would feel about it, so let me know in the comments. If I did, I'd definitely use DistroKid to release that music. DistroKid helps you get your music onto hundreds of streaming platforms, and they've got plenty of tools to help promote your music during the lead up to your release and once the track is out. I've got big discounts in the description. Let's get back to the video. Okay, so with that, let's create our A section. Why might we do the A section separately? Well, this is just so we can kind of create a reprise of that chorus section. We can kind of nod to what we heard in the chorus section. So what I'm going to do here is maybe just create some breaks. Like that's a great break. We're going to take out everything here, and we're just going to add this note beforehand like that. In this section, what I'll do is not make it quite as beefy by removing that serum chug. We're going to fill that space in with that classic hint at nu metal by adding some DJ scratches. And I have a wonderful tool just for the job. I don't often find room to use it, but today is the perfect opportunity. Scratcher is a Max for Live device that enables you to do that real vinyl style scratching and cutting in Ableton. I'll leave Scratcher in the description so that you can find it later. So what we're going to do is pull that in, and we'll make sure our sample falls in this gap. I really like that. Now here I'm going to choose a different kind of pattern. With this, I feel like it's got a little bit too much low end in it. There's a lot of energy there. So I'm just going to high pass that. I think we could add a couple of tightly EQ'd guitar riffs in the back to also play in the opposing parts of silence. And then I think we're ready to hear how this quickie beat turned out. So what I'll do is in these gaps, I'll put something like that. Trust the process. I'm going to change the sound of this. So there we have it, guys. What do you think of today's video? And would you want to hear any more tutorials in this style in the future? We've covered such a range on Inspired By up to this day. Perhaps you want to see some pop punk, hardcore, or heavier metal focused genres. Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for swinging by, and I'll see you next time.